police. Internationally, yacht sinks off Italian coast, 1 dead. And let's not forget, we have the latest in sports. West Indies under-19 women's squad announced for UK tour as preparations for 2025 ICC Women's Under-19 Cricket World Cup continues. I am presenter Kira Conpot. Thank you for joining us.
Triple M News, Northern News Network. The Real FM News team has you covered. First in news, reviews, and interviews.
Welcome, brothers, welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program On Target. As usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up a telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socio-economic issues, any issue trending. You can pick up your telephone. The number to call is 442-0175, and you can even change the subject matter we are speaking on. That's what it's all about. It's a democratic process, and we have to constantly encourage people to discuss issues. You don't have to be angry. People don't have to agree with you, but you could express your views and opinion. And on our program, we encourage people to stick with the truth. A small country like Grenada, there is no need to tell lies on politicians. The country too small for that. And politicians makes plenty mistakes naturally. So there is no need to say anything that is untrue or false about politicians. I try to be sympathetic as possible to politicians because they, perhaps more than any other profession, is under scrutiny. So the mistakes they make, I examine them carefully before I'm critical. But I like to concentrate on the policy of a political party, because that is what I believe is most important: the policy of a political party. Because you can have a political party with a policy that is negative to different interest groups in the country. The trade union are powerful lobbyists in the country. They have representation at the highest level, the upper house. And they're very powerful. They have the numbers. They can demonstrate and cause strikes and wreck the economy of the government if they don't agree. The business sector are shrewd lobbyists. They have representation at the highest level in the upper house. In addition to that, a lot of the people in the business sector fund the political parties. So they have natural influence on them. The farmers' organization, that group have not done justice to the farmers, but they have a voice in the upper house. The people who do not have a voice is the ordinary man. The ordinary man. And if you follow my program, you would hear me spending a lot of time on the policy of the government to people in the lower income group. So take for instance now, this present government policy, I've said, is hostile to people in the lower income group. Let us look at something that is not tangible. It's not money. It's not a bridge you're building. It's not a tangible something. And it is not written. It is not part of the written policy of the NDC. Now, if you write down that, it will be a non-starter from day one. You cannot go into a political campaign and saying negative things about the biggest voting bloc. The people in the lower income group that is least represented have the greatest voting bloc. And that is why politicians always give the impression that they are fighting for these people. But you find all the policies of the NDC seems to be negative vis-a-vis the people in the lower income group. This morning, I'm going to pay attention to one of them. The education system. We have an education system in Grenada that is unproductive. I have said that several times. That's one of the reasons that brought me on radio. I was dissatisfied with the education system, and in the discussion with some of my friends and colleagues, while they was not challenging what I say, they were very quiet. So I decided to go to the public with my position. 70% of the children that exit school cannot meet the minimum requirement. That is trouble with capital T. You have the highest group of people that are unemployed in the country are young people. And then the group that perhaps most difficult to get a job is women between 35 and 60. Now, if this schoolhouse is not producing people that is competitive on the job market, then that malady will continue. Today in Grenada, the political phenomenon, the political policies of the government is compounding the productivity level in schools. That should not be. That ought not to be. Government should do everything in their power to increase the productivity in the education system. The government policy is going to contribute to the downturn in the productivity, and this is one of the reasons. For the first time in the history of Grenada, or post 1970, 71, 72, no government has had a policy that clearly seems to segment the country. Even if that was the intention, they never stretch it out loud. They never say it. They never feel proud to express that policy. This government is fractioning the country. It describes some people in the country less favorable, classless, commoners. Now, how does a teacher in the education system deal with children that they believe is not on par with other children? Many of you who have advanced in age and go to the school system would have observed prejudice practiced against some children. If you had big nose, thick lip, kinky hair, you're black as coals, your parents poor, and you come from certain communities, you was not treated in the same way as if your parents was Mr. this and Mr. that, or you were from a lighter complexion. But it was never something that government would claim I agree with. No principal in school would tell you, I'm practicing that. So it was perhaps the exception rather than the rule. But the regularity with which it happens, anyone who went to the school system, particularly if they felt they was in a group that was targeted, would have known that. Now the government of Grenada is entrenching a policy that could evoke a number of teachers to practice more prejudice in the school. I have said to you on many occasions that when a child goes to school at the age of 5, they are profiled. Some of the language that was used yesterday is not used again today. So they're going to tell the parents with pride, your child is not academically inclined. And some of the parents say, well, they say, my child is not academically inclined, so better send him in judo. Or better send him in technical thing. But when you tell a parent that in primary school, what you're telling the parents, there is nothing you could do. And the parents say, well, the teacher say he can learn, so what are you going to do? You can't make blood out of stone. That is the language that you are hearing from some parents. When the government of Grenada entrenches a policy that seems to give the impression that we have people in different social strata in the school, I'm extremely concerned that some teachers are going to take advantage of that and treat some children very badly. We must not accept that. We must not accept that. I have said on many occasions, the government must re-examine those expressions and those utterances, the regularity with which it takes place at the parliamentary representative level is unacceptable. From politician to politician on the NDC side, you hear them with these utterances. Good people and bad people. Commoners. Beggy. Greedy and needy. Classless. Jail them. Give them 1,000 years. Lunatics and idiots. Those are the words that are emanating with great regularity from the mouths of the 9 ministers of government. What is even more frightening is the teachers' union executive. Now, teachers is perhaps the brightest people in the country. When the teachers stay silent, silent could mean consent. On an issue like that, the teachers are not supposed to stay silent. They're supposed to object. But in this situation, it seems that they are openly supporting the government policy. You have heard the president of the teachers union. And he must be speaking with the blessings of his executive. Otherwise, they will nudge him and ask him to discontinue this adverse policy. When you see these things happening in the country, people supposed to speak about. The union leader, the Grenada Trade Union Council union leader, Mr. Luis, did not call, or did not, as far as I know, have an audience with the unions discussing this adverse policy of the government. So it means they join up with the government. I remember Mr. Luis in the upper house advocating that government must provide some form of housing for those who they send and train. These individuals seems to turn against the people of the lower income group. It is not good. It is not even in their own interest. They seem to be blinded because they believe they're in a new social strata, a higher social level. They're better than other people. This is not good for our country. It's going to backfire. The productivity in the education system would not increase. There'll be more fraction, more conflicts. You will have greater social decadence. The government seems to have the answer for that. Jail them, long jail sentence. Mental institute, expand the mental institute, because the government has taken in front and declared Monge as a ministry. All these are not encouraging signs. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar. Yes, go right ahead.
Mr. Pierre, I didn't see the coach get a gift yesterday. What's going on? He don't deserve a gift?
I didn't hear that part.
I didn't see the coach get a gift yesterday. He don't deserve a gift?
Which coach?
The Olympic coach.
Oh, they was giving out gifts yesterday?
Yeah.
I didn't follow up that, so I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, I can't comment on that because I did not follow up what took place yesterday. Yesterday was a very busy day for me. Yeah. I'm gone? Yeah, I didn't follow up what took place yesterday. So if they did not give him a gift, then he don't deserve one. Always remember, gifts are not, if they don't choose you for a gift, not to bother with that. That means they didn't consider you. If they feel you would have get a gift, they would have give you. So maybe they didn't consider it. So these things are, yes, caller, welcome. Go right ahead, caller.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yes,
sir.
good day, man.
Belated happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, Mr. Pierre. Mr. Pierre, what gift they telling you? You was a coach. You was a coach for with the basketball, with the Olympic people and everything.
I didn't follow up the activities yesterday, so I don't have a clue on it.
Yeah, but I only asked you if you didn't get if you didn't.
No, he asked if the coach. He asked if the coach didn't get, not I. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
But I didn't follow it.
Have a blessed day.
Yes, thank you.
Enjoy it.
Yes, thank you very much. You see, because these things are not a tangible thing, it goes quietly in the society, but it has serious consequences on our people. And individuals like the trade union leaders, the teachers, and other leaders of organization in the country supposed to be concerned. You ought not to have an education system where the vast majority of students that exit the system is not meeting the minimum requirement. There is no justification. The government of Grenada is spending about 11% of their GDP, 10-11% on education. Our schools in Grenada, the teacher to children ratio in our schools today are better than most developed countries. Electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none. We're better than most, and we compare them with the best. So there is absolutely no need for over 70% of the children to be failing in school. It means that those who are teaching them are not teaching. Your productivity level is wanting. Every time you raise that subject matter, the intellectuals blame parents. You have to understand that 60% of the parents in Grenada, of the household in Grenada, are led by single women. That alone is a serious challenge. Most of them are working, hustling, trying to keep the home and maintain the children in school. And they would have serious limitations. And if they ensure that a child go to school from 2.5 years, that's 13.5 years in school, then how you could blame them? Out of that group, 15% of them, they have no problem. They have it well locked down. Their children is doing well in school. So I ask the question, what the educators are doing? Parents are not paid to teach. Parents are not trained to teach. Parents are not given incentive to teach. Some parents don't even care about education. That is why government have to step in and make education mandatory. And say, once your child is 5 years, it is against the law to keep them away from school. And government created truancy officers since the 70s to make certain children go to school. And parents are threatened with legal action if they don't send children to school. So parents are not to be blamed. The action of the parents obviously could help the children to do well. But you cannot blame the parents for the children failing. The teachers and the educators are to blame. You are responsible. You are the one that receive a salary. You are better paid today than any other time in our history. Teachers are in a better economic position today than any other time in our history. Why do I say that? Over 20% of our teachers drive themselves to school. The schools are better equipped today than any other time in our history. And the workload is less. So we have to discontinue the practice of blaming parents. We could encourage parents to get hungry for education so they will do more. And obviously, that would help the children to succeed. But you can't blame the parents for the children failing. If we have to face reality, my biggest problem is when bright, smart, educated people hiding. They have PhD, they have MA, they have masters, they have all kind of training. They have a briefcase of certificate, but they don't want to take responsibility. If you, in any profession, whether you're in the business sector, and you're operating at 20%, you're in serious problems. If you're making furnitures, and 70% of your furnitures are found wanting, they are defective, they cannot be sold, you will go out of business. If you sew in dress, but 70% of the dress do good, you're so good, it's too tight, it caboose, it's squeezing, it don't fit, you're not a good seamstress. If you're making cake in a pan, and 70% of the cake don't rise because you forget to put yeast, it fall, you're not a good baker. And if you're teaching maths, and 70% of the children cannot pass maths, you're not a good teacher. We have to take responsibility. We have to be accountable. We can't be walking the road like turkey cock, and we're not doing a good job. The most laziest people I come across already in the country are intellectuals. And they're not taking blame. And they're so bright, nobody can correct them. It's not an easy job for any politician, you know. If you go after the educators, they come after you like a ton of brick. And they have sympathy from the other profession because they're bright. The time has come for parents to wake up and realize your children are screwed in school. They are not screwed by the white man, not the Americans, not the old imperialists, not the Cubans, not the Chinese or the Russian. They are screwed by their own people. We profile them. We put them in all form of classification. We are not teaching them. We condemn them. Then we call them idiots and lunatics, commoners and classless. Now, if we continue to do that, we will continue in poverty. The children coming from school, but they are not prepared for the competitiveness on the job market. Statistics that is not mine. From the Caribbean, you could go and find out from the Caribbean statistician and those who are responsible for coming up with that. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hey, good afternoon. Mr. Pierre, hold on.
Great, man.
A belated body to you, man.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Pierre, you're speaking about teachers. I want to make a holistic point here, concerned to do with work in general. Right? And I do believe any work someone get, it was first most fundamental reason why I take work, because you love the work, you love to do the work that you got. You love the work. And once you love, like I say, you love teaching and you love children and your desire is to help educate the young one in society. I do believe you are a teacher. You will be a successful teacher, a teacher that will be lifted up and lift for children and will feel happy. Even though with the police, the other work that everyone else does, that you will be successful. But if someone take a work because they work just because they want money, right, and they don't care about those who they're working around, right, and those who they're working around, they will not be successful because what they see is money. They don't see these young people they see young people. And I always say to Mr. Pierre, the fundamental reason why you want to work, certain work, is because you want to help develop people. want to help make us different, a positive different, the way you get a where you employ to be work, where you employ to work. Because if you only take work for money, for the love of money, and not for the love to develop people and to make people life better, you will not be successful. And many times, okay, something I always say to people, a teacher work is not only when you are in class. A postman work is not only when they're on duty, right? You have to set an example in during school time, out of school times, right? You have to let your children respect you when school in progress, when school close, you have to set an example for the children to follow. And whenever you set an example, and when your people saw you coming, whatever they do, Mr. Pierre, they will start to say, no, I don't respect for the teacher. But when we don't set that example and we want to do what we want, anything goes at a certain time, the children will not respect us, right? So I call upon educators. Yes, we say we are educators, but then when you educate people, not only when school closed, when school open and school going on, but when school closed, and see young men and young ladies outside, outside there, you have to give a word of advice, right? Because your child, as a mother, as a father, your child is your child. But somebody else's child come as a teacher and as a other educator, you see that child, other person child as your child. So Mr. Pierre, what I have to say.
Yes, scholar. I think we have to ask ourselves questions from captain to cook. And we must not be afraid to ask the brightest people in our country questions. And they are the educators. They cannot be permitted to have a free reign because they're bright. That don't make no sense. We have to ask what success means. We have to be able to quantify it. You, the parent with the children, have to ask yourself questions. If your children are going to school from 2.5 and they're not learning, something wrong, nothing wrong with the child. Observe the child in the house. A 2.5-year-old child listening music and they dancing as if they're trained to dance. Look at some of the things they're saying. They already start to sing the songs that they hear on radio and television. The vocabulary is good, sometimes agricultural, sharp and provocative. Yet that child going to school and can learn. You 9 and 10-year-old gambling. They're trying to trick everybody in the community. Yet they're going to school and not learning. Something is wrong with our education system. And our teachers, our principals of schools, our area education officers, our chief education officer, you all have to accept the fact, sit down and do a post-mortem. We are not doing good. It does not mean that some teachers are not trying. Too few. It does not mean that 1 or 2 schools is not trying. Too few. You cannot have 70% of the children that exit school cannot meet the minimum requirement. This is a joke. And you believe you are untouchables. Nobody mustn't tell you nothing. You're not doing a good job. If we continue like that, we're going to always have a lot of social problems. All the prisons in the Caribbean, including Grenada, are overpopulated. The majority of people in prison did not have a good basic education. When they reach in front of the magistrate, even if the magistrate want to give them a break, the poor magistrate don't know what to do. Where they're going to find jobs? They have a police record. So they cannot find a job even in the lumber yards, Kenco, the big supermarkets, government security service asking for police record. Since the individuals here police record, they're not going for this job. Young man only cook for maintenance. Can't go for a job in security because he's afraid the police will pick him up one time. Now where we going? The Minister of Agriculture, lunatics and idiot. Although the police said there was a downturn in pre-deal larceny crime, 3% of the crimes committed in Grenada was from pre-deal larceny. Yet the minister wanted to increase the jail term and calling them lunatic and idiot. Now how we going to solve this? These problems have to solve. And I say to the bright and smart people in Grenada who like to turn their head and classify people and use some of the most derogative terminology to describe the less fortunate, they're going to end up with your daughter or your son. They're going to end up with your daughter and your son. So it is in your interest to change things. The government plan is to give stiffer penalties. So they want to build more prison because the prison is overpopulated. I guess build bigger mental institute because the mental institute is also overpopulated. But why don't you address the challenges? The schools are unproductive. Because we abandon social groups in the school, there are likely to be more fights among village. Tivoli and Ahoma, Moncton and Parklet, Paradise and Lafayette, Montfendu and Moncraven. Because the children go to school for 13 and a half years, but they was never in a social group. So they don't know how to function with one another. They stay in the little corner and develop prejudices. The same prejudice that the teachers brand them with in school. We are doing injustice to our own people. Black people are screwing up black people. Maybe we have to look at the amount of money we spend on tertiary education and spend more money on primary and secondary education. I don't know what percentage of our island scholars return to Grenada to make contribution. We spend a lot of money on island scholars. And when they go away, in the majority of instances, they don't believe they are duty bound to come back. Maybe we have to have less money spent on tertiary education and more money spent on primary and secondary education. Governments have to have a policy that help those who need the help. And the people who need the most assistance in the country are the people in the lower income group. Governments speak about the creative arts. One amount of noise they make about it. During that time, I stayed quiet because I don't like breaking news. I like when the news stale. But I've been asking about the creative arts in the primary school. Now, if you're genuine about creative arts, you will go in the primary school. If you're genuine about development, you will push music in the primary school. Don't believe me? Ask any teacher you meet, any politician, what are the benefits of music in primary school or in school? Watch them in the eyes when you ask them this question. Some of them be lying for you. And if when they finish speaking, you don't answer them, tell them speak in a language that you understand. When people speak to you, a 6-year-old child must understand what they say. Anytime they're speaking in language that you cannot understand, they are doing it so you don't understand what they say. It's like when you go and read a legal document, when they want to fine you later on, they say you didn't read the fine print. Because the fine print is where the trick is. We could change things in the country. I believe in 5-10 years, we could make dramatic change in the country. But we have to start now. We have to start with the education system. We have to be constantly cognizant of government policy, particularly the unwritten policies. They don't want to put down this wickedness on paper. But you listen to the utterances and the expressions and the hostile policy against people in the lower income group. This government is the worst for that. And I've been observing them over the years. And this period is the worst. And I believe it would have serious negative consequences for the future. So I want to appeal to all who is concerned. Parents, you go in parent-teachers meeting. I don't know if they have that in all schools. I know one time they held it up. But they have fundraising. People going and raise funds to fund school. That is nonsense. Don't take part in that. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yes, ma'am.
Good day. How are you doing?
Great, man.
Mr. Pierre, you just mentioned that it would only take about 5 years to get us to where we want to get with our educational system.
No, I say within 5 to 10 years we could make dramatic change.
How come we didn't make dramatic changes for the last 5 years?
You see, caller, we have to want to make a difference in society. If we don't want to make a difference, small islands like ours will always be in the doldrum. Caller, of the 30 most educated countries in the world, none of them in the Caribbean, none of them in Africa. Are you not concerned?
I am concerned, but how come we was not concerned 5 years ago? Who was the Minister of Education 5 years ago?
Caller, were you listening to my program 8 years ago?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you never hear me, caller. You never hear me speak about education?
I'm saying that's exactly why I'm asking you. Why was not changes made 5 years ago?
Well, maybe
You were in a position. You were in a position to help that.
caller, I was on the radio speaking about the education system, maybe about 30 years now on that subject matter, but about 8 to 10 years now on radio.
Mr. Pierre, who was the Minister of Education 5 years ago?
It doesn't matter who was the Minister of Education then. And I will say to you, caller, I'm more worried now than 5 years ago. During the period of the NNP, I saw a number of steps taken that could have put us on the right direction. A number of steps. And if you want me to list some of this for you, I could do that for you. But now...
You said we need 5 years.
Caller, within...
So 5 years ago to now, we should be in a good position. We shouldn't be where we are now. Are you there?
Once you ask me a question, I go start to take it from you. You just interrupting one another. So I always tell people, ask me them questions last. Make your statement.
Okay, let me ask you last question. So 5 years ago, Emmeline Pierre was Minister of Education. You said all we need is 5 years. So what have we achieved over the last 5 years to show that we were going in the right direction? You have the floor now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we achieve enough in the last 5 years to say that we're going in the right direction. But if a Minister of Education have the guts to challenge the education system, I believe they're on the right direction. And during her period, I complimented her on a number of occasions for the action she took to challenge the education system, to encourage them to be more motivated.
So
Why are
we here today?
Caller, you remember, you afraid the truth of it. You asked me a question, and I'm answering you, and you interrupting me. That's why I tell you, ask me, and then I'll answer you last. But you don't want the truth.
All right, I'm listening to the truth.
Right. And that's the challenge we have in Grenada. The education system is a tough one to take on. No individual minister could do it successfully. But I thought that during the period of the NNP, a number of attempts was made to take on the education system. I saw the battle they had with the teachers' executive when they were dealing with COVID-19. Everything they said, they tried to provide it for them. So they say, okay, you want that with it. When they spoke about sanitizing, they brought about 300 people in the school just to keep them in the school. And that was the right direction. I don't think they did enough. I wanted them to do a lot more. What you see now, this government is turning the hand of the clock back. And it should be of concern to people. When the teachers union president is practically supporting the government policy of classless and commoners, people are supposed to be concerned.
When did he support that policy?
I got to take you out, caller. Yes, switch him off. Yeah, you could call back. Yes, caller, call back. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good
Yeah, my brother, yeah.
welcome. We have Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
How you do?
Great, man.
This caller don't like to hear the truth. NNP did a lot. Don't worry them. They know that for themselves, and they know. They know this government is a waste of time where the education is concerned. They know that. But I know the caller voice was just calling.
No, but we don't want to.
Big man with them.
No, we don't identify voices. Yeah. We only like the message.
So he better get the facts straight and come. Tell him we there out here, we listening him, and we could put him in a place. You understand?
Yes,
they always there to defend NDC.
Yeah.
All right.
And the education system is bigger than NNP and NDC. If the people in this country don't recognize that the education system is unproductive, the politician is helpless. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, welcome. Yeah? Person, you there? We lost them? All right, you must be struggling, so you either pick up the telephone and call again. All right. If the people in our country do not recognize that the education system is unproductive, the politician will be intimidated by it. Yes, caller, welcome. You can get through, caller? We want to hear you.
Hello.
So yes, go right ahead.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, go right ahead, caller.
Yes, I want to say special good afternoon to your listeners and to that caller that is making reference to the last government and the contribution to education. Where was this caller 5 years ago? As someone who worked in the education system, let me say that the NNP government has done so much for education. But education is dynamic. And so we expect that further development take place. There must be a plan. And what would have been the focus then may not be the focus now. So this government now must have a plan for education, and we must know what is the plan. So what is his problem? Tell this caller, get real, please. Get real. Thank you.
Yes, the education system is bigger than the NNP or the NDC or politician. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, go right ahead. We're not hearing you, so you better try and call back again. Yeah? We know you're there, but we're not hearing you, so you won't call back. The education system is bigger than the politician. And the education system is powerful. The unions are powerful. And politicians that decide to take on the system, one have to applaud them. Because they will turn on the politician like a ton of bricks. Yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller. All right, this caller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes.
And how are you?
Great, man. Good, man.
Mr. Pierre, you have demonstrated a lot of patience. I know you always talk about being tolerant. But Mr. Pierre, do not let some of these people come on your program and dictate to you when to listen, and you have the flow now, and these things. There are several call-in programs, and a lot of these people do not call in on these programs because, you know what, they cannot do that. But, you know, old people have a saying, play with puppy, puppy lick your mouth, and play with big dog bite you. There are times, you know what, you have to draw a line in the sand. These people, do not allow these people to come on your program and take up all these time. There are other people who wants to make a genuine contribution, I have a 5-year-old grandson, and if he was listening, you should hear his vocabulary. If he was listening to a program like that, you'd hear the comments he would have made. You know, there are a lot of children, yes, they might be young, but very, very smart and intelligent, you know, and it has to do with the household. They'll bring in teachers. I know teachers from long ago. They're very, very tolerant. They were very tolerant. There's a woman, Valerie Francis. There was Mrs. Sylvester. There was Mrs. Huggins. All these people, Mr. Cyril Cape, you know, these people were patient. These people did a lot. And I have learned so much. Thank God for these people. God bless their souls and may they rest in peace. But now I think a lot of people are taking up positions because they want a job, not because they love what they do. And you find that in different areas, and it's sad. But again, Mr. Pierre, do not let people call in on your program and take up all this time dictating to you how to run your program and questioning you as if you were in a courthouse.
All right, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. You see, we have to sit down and discuss the education system. The education system in Grenada is not worse than in Dominica, St. Vincent, and Lucia. The whole Caribbean. But I firmly believe that that change could start in Grenada. I firmly believe that that change could start in Grenada. Examine what I say and see if it is the truth. If it is not the truth, then challenge me. If it is the truth, then let us see how we could address it. All of us have a part to play. We cannot have an education system that cannot answer the call for the job market. Now the Caribbean exports are telling you that 60% of the people looking for jobs do not have the skills, the talents, the education for the jobs available. So they are saying, not that we don't have jobs, The people looking for the jobs don't have the skills or talents. You have people in agriculture, they can't do it. You have people going into the technical area, they can't do it. 1 or 2 electricians in the community, some of them overwork and they don't bother in. You have the informatics, the computer, the data. They can't make it. The different reputable organizations in the Caribbean are saying, not that we don't have jobs, but our people don't have the skill set, the talents for the jobs available. You hear people in the private sector complaining. People go for a job in the private sector and they don't have the discipline. They don't have the right attitude. You have to spend time to train them in basic issues. Then what the schoolhouse is doing? We have over 500 soca artists in Grenada. And the majority of them can pass English. And then the songs that they sing with very strong, suggestive, provocative blues lyrics. The school have it as the anthem. Something have to be wrong. The same individuals that left your school, that couldn't meet the minimum requirements, the basic, not the language. They went outside there and they sing some songs that good for midnight or when you go in the pleasure house. No, those songs you using as anthem in your school? There's something wrong with us. We must address these issues, and these issues could change within overnight. 5-10 years is overnight, because change in countries is a slow thing, but these things could change. A child spent 13.5 years in school. Over 70% of the children can't pass maths, can't pass English. You see some children, they tell you they're doing F and N, all sorts of nonsense. We have to be concerned. And the teachers cannot say it's the parents, they can't blame the parents. The parents are not paid to teach. They are not trained to teach. And they don't even know what is the curriculum. In the same vein, the parents have to get more hungry for education. And we have to demand that the system do better. We have to do that. And we have to prepare to discuss the education system in our homes, in the community, in the rum shop. I always ask some girls when I speak to them, in the next 10, 15 years, what do you think is going to happen to the majority of boys in your community? I always ask this question. The answer is not generally very encouraging. Because we have so much of young men, they're not even bothering to look for jobs. They don't have a girlfriend they could walk with in the day. I mean, get one in the night. Can't walk with them in the day. They're using endless obscenities. They're running afoul of the law. We have to be concerned. You know, and this is a topic I enjoy discussion on it and willing to exercise a lot of tolerance with some of the people who ask questions just to encourage them to be genuine, discuss the issue. If I say something on radio that you believe is not reasonable, is not the truth, take me on. Because I genuinely want to believe that we could change it. And the government of Grenada is compounding the issue by calling people classless and commoners and good people and bad people. When teachers start to call children that, why do you think happen in the schoolhouse? You think a teacher going to waste time with a child she believes is classless? Or a commoner? And sometimes that very word might come from the mouth of the teacher. So we want to encourage all and sundry to zero in on the education system. They must change. They need to change, or they need to answer. They need to rebut. When I tell you 70% cannot meet the minimum requirement, challenge me, because I'm not qualified to challenge the statistics from reputable organization. I only have the courage of my own conviction, but I dare them to challenge the statements I make and tell me what is the correct statistics. We want to thank all those who participate in a program like that. And we want to encourage you to continue discussing the issue of education. Speak to your children. You have children from secondary school, national college. You're surprised to know that even the little children in primary school are concerned about the education system. Discuss it with them, and we will be on a better trajectory to change that. And those who call and those who have written on WhatsApp and on the Facebook and YouTube, we want to thank you very much for participating in the program, and we encourage you to subscribe to Real FM. The voices, I know they're working on 91.9. A number of people have not gotten to it yet, but Real FM took a battering too from Beryl. So we're hoping that before the week ends, that we might have 91.9 back on target. We have more time? So we come to the end, and we want to thank our new technical operator today. Thank you very much.
Informative, entertaining, and first. Every hour on the hour.